Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. So today's episode, I think I've mentioned in the previous episodes, Julie and I were just out in Newfoundland again. Absolutely love Newfoundland. And at every meal except for breakfast that I ate in Newfoundland, so lunch and dinner every day, I had cod cakes or fish cakes. Absolutely loved them. Every time we had them, they were completely different than the other times I had them. Same sort of, there was a common thread, but slightly different. The preparation was always a little bit different. So I thought I'd come home and make them. But I'm going to tell you right off the top, I'm just some guy making noise in the kitchen. If you want to see a professional from Newfoundland making cod cakes, I'll drop a link below and go to a YouTube channel called Bonita's Kitchen. She'll set you right. So in this fry pan, I'm going to put some butter and we're going to melt that down. And while that melts, I'm going to toss in some diced onion. And I want to fry the onion just until it's a little past translucent. Not quite brown, but brownish. Okay, so we need cod. I went to all of the usual suspects. All of the places where I see salt cod on a fairly regular basis, I went to all of them. Could not get salt cod, but I could get fresh cod. So I'm going to use fresh cod. If you're using salt cod, yesterday you would have put it in some water and let it soak overnight. Drain off the water to take away most of the salt. If you're really salt sensitive, you would have refreshed the water a couple of times and end up with this. Because I'm not using salt cod, I have salted the mashed potatoes a little bit more to compensate for the lack of salt. These are mashed potatoes, just plain, straight up potatoes, boiled in salt water, mashed. No cream, no butter, nothing like that. Just mashed potatoes. And at this point, they're cool. So I've got a pot of water here that's just coming up to a simmer. And what we want to do is cook the cod. So I'm going to put that in. Put a lid on. Okay, the onions are coming along. Now, like I said, I had fish cakes, lunch and dinner every day we were there. Absolutely wonderful. And every place we went to, they were a little bit different. We had them out on Fogo Island and they were like, white tablecloth, chef type things, highfalutin fish cakes. They were really good. But the best ones I had were at Doyle's Lobster Pond. Doyle's is the kind of place where there's a wharf. The fish and the lobster come in at the wharf. Right at the end of the wharf are a couple of sheds. One of them has Doyle's Pond, which is just basically a big saltwater tank that he keeps the lobster in that's been caught. You order the lobster in the restaurant that's beside it, and the restaurant's essentially just a covered porch. Absolutely wonderful. Just a covered porch. They take the lobster from the pond, they go to the shed next door where they've got some pots lined up, and they boil the lobster and they bring it to you. Absolutely incredible. One of the best meals I've had in a long time. And the fish cakes were phenomenal, but it's a seasonal restaurant. It's only open spring, summer, and probably a little bit into the fall while it's warm because it's just a covered porch. And the kitchen was slammed because it was opening night. We were there the first night of the season. Kitchen was slammed. They didn't want some guy from Toronto coming in and asking them about their fish cakes. So if you know anybody who works at Doyle's Lobster Pond, let them know I would really like the recipe. I'd even come out there and make them in their kitchen because it's just great. And it might have been that they were just simple food. And the jam that they came with was incredible. It was rhubarb preserve or compote. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to say those onions are good. So I'm going to tip those in with the potatoes. Now, I'm going to put the pan back on the heat, but I'm going to lower the heat down to maybe 3 or 4. What I've got here is finely diced salt pork. We're going to render off the fat and kind of brown them a little bit. We're making scrunchins because the best way to fry your fish cakes is with scrunchin fat. Or at least I think so. So we'll get that in there. Kind of low heat. I don't want to burn them. Just render out the fat. Okay, so I've got a tray And the cod is cooked. So I'm going to put it on the tray and I'm going to let it cool down a little bit before I try and flake it. Cod's almost cool. I've got the potatoes and the onion, and to that I'm going to add summer savory. Summer savory is wonderful. I use it quite a bit in the cooking around here. I love it in soups and stuff. It's in almost everything in Newfoundland. And we were on the ferry to Fogo, and the people sitting behind us were having a good old laugh. I guess they had gone to a friend's house and had made, the friend had made them turkey soup. Didn't really know how to cook. And had put 2 packages of summer savory in the soup, and they said it was inedible. It's going to happen. I kind of chuckled, but at the same time, stuff like that happens. You learn from it. Summer savory is fantastic, but 2 whole packages in a pot of turkey soup is a little excessive. So there's an egg, summer savory, onion, and potato. The potatoes are salted. I'm going to give that a stir. Everything's relatively cool, so it's not cooking the egg, which is good. Now we're going to flake this cod, and look, it just pulls apart. Cod is just such a wonderful fish. Okay, so I've got it all broken up. I don't see any bones, which is another thing that I was looking for here. So into the potato mixture it goes. Scrunchins look great, so I'm going to pull them out of the pan, but I'm going to leave the fat in the pan because we're gonna fry the fish cakes in the fat. Last few pieces, there we go. I'll just set that aside. We'll come back here and we'll give this a good mix. Mix the cod into the potatoes. Almost forgot the pepper. So black pepper, put that in, give it a stir. I've got a plate here with some flour on it, and I've got an ice cream scoop, a number 12 ice cream scoop. The idea is I'm supposed to make patties. I'm not really good at shaping things like this. If you've been around here long enough, you might know that. Not good at all. So I'll make a patty. A couple of places that I went to, it looked like they had just taken the ice cream scoop and then dropped it in a deep fryer. And they were pretty good. So there we go, and onto a tray. Okay, I'm not going to cook them all tonight. I'm going to put these ones in the freezer and freeze them, and then I'll wrap them up a little bit later once they're frozen, and we'll have those another night. So I've got the oil from the Scrunchins heating up here in the frying pan. I think we're almost hot enough. Get these in and start frying them. Not quite yet. Try again. A little bit better. Give that a go. Okay, I think we're good. I think this is as far as I want to go with frying them. I can smell the savory. Okay, and some scrunchin bits on top.
Ooh, hey
Jules.
friends, hey Glen.
You're gonna need some forks.
I'm gonna need some forks. Smells like they just came out of the frying pan.
Yep.
They've got that smell. All right.
Okay. No rhubarb relish. I went out to the backyard and looked at the rhubarb plant, and
It's not quite big enough.
It's not
yet.
big
No,
enough.
It's
No.
been, it's been a cold week.
Yeah.
Just too bad. That rhubarb relish we had at Was it Doyle and
Doyle's.
Thompson? Doyle and Thompson lobster pool? That was really good. That's what I'm comparing yours to, you know. It's going to be a tough comparison. Those were so good.
That's really good.
Very nice.
I think the reason I really liked Doyle's was how soft they were. Like the texture was really soft. I didn't get the brown crispy that they got.
No.
I thought about a couple of ways to get that done.
And that rhubarb relish was
yeah.
really good. It went with it really, really well. Well, that's pretty good, Glenn. I'm impressed.
Excellent. Because there's 5 more in the freezer waiting to go.
Great.
That is really good. I can demolish these.
All right.
I can demolish these constantly. Eat them every day.
Yes, I watched that already. Eat them every day. I already saw that recently. Anyway.
Okay. Get yourself some cod. Fresh or salt. Go over to Bonita's kitchen and watch a real Newfoundlander make them.
Yes, that would be wise.
Please do. But know that on your first attempt,
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. They'll be just fine, and they'll be better than fine. They'll be amazing. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
I would put less savory in it.
I told the story about the
Two
fairy
bags
to
of savory. 2 bags of savory is too much
too
savory.
much savory.
Yeah. Which then reminds me of Codco.
Oh,
Which, I don't know.
I have to come back again.
I don't
So
remember
maybe-
the exact name, but you know, the number. But
Maybe if you're Canadian, you remember a comedy show from Newfoundland in the 80s. It was kind of kids in the hall time.
called
So
Codco.
early 90s, called Codco. And there's a quote that we come back to again and again and again. So that show is so funny.
But it's just too much. That number is too much.
Too many.